In the previous episode, we covered adding sprites to our text system, which in turn gave us an issue with our text architect, and that is the architect trying to use an injection tag as an encapsulator. Now fortunately the fix is super quick and simple, so open up the text architect script and follow along. First of all, the architect isn't obsolete. The way it works now is how it should work for default text, but we also use TMPro now, which gives us an option of using a simpler method. So let's add a boolean to say whether we use this architect for TMPro or default text. Now add the storage for that value so we can reference it later on. And assign it in our initialization. Alright, good. Now let's head to the construction loop. Right here is where we're set to encapsulate a tag. This is where we'll use that value to determine how to behave with the tags we're given. If we use the architect for TMPro, we only need to inject the tags. But if we don't, then we have to use encapsulation. So cut this entire function here where we use the encapsulation method and paste it into our first if region if we're not using TMPro. Now for the section where we do use TMPro, let's get our tag by sandwiching it between the tag brackets, because remember the string array was split by those brackets, so they're no longer present on any tag. And then simply add the entire tag at once and yield. And that is literally all there is to it. So without doing anything else, our TextMesh Pro using the text architect can display text and sprites with no issue. But of course, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to our architect testing script and making sure everything works with and without TextMesh Pro. This, you may remember, was the script we made in the first text architect video simply to test its functionality. So this time I'm adding a default text field along with the TextMesh Pro text field, so I can use either one for testing. Then I want to know if I'm going to use this for default text or TMPro. And just make sure we pass all those variables above into the architect generation so we use the right settings. Then copy and paste that into a key trigger field, or just put it in a separate function and call it that way. Now depending on if I use TMPro or not will determine which text field I use. Now I'm just going to set the variables and add a default text field so I can check them side by side. And now we're ready to test it out. Okay, we verified that TMPro works, now let's see default text work. Okay, great. Both methods of the architect work terrifically. TMPro ignores encapsulation and only injects tags, while default text makes sure to encapsulate the text as it's being built. And the default doesn't support sprites, which is why we have the visible tag field there. But the big thing here is we have dual support in the text architect, and that's what I wanted. Now that's it for today's episode. It was very short, and I knew it would be. That's kind of good. I like it when tutorials are relatively short, as long as I don't skip on details. Now, next episode, we'll get into the long-awaited topic of loading dialogue from text files rather than pre-coded scripts. That'll be the first of 2 episodes focusing on dialogue. In those episodes, we'll start making simple dialogue files, and then we'll advance them into full chapter files with dialogue, commands, music, and all sorts of things. So, I hope you'll tune in for that. Until then, please give the video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video.